by Sagicor Bank is
7 o'clock, and it's time for the morning watch.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you are overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the main watch, putting the squeeze on gun criminals. And in the second watch, the rape and the kidnap laws in Jamaica. For our social media question, we ask, what do you think about the amendments to the new Firearms Act? Share your responses on our Facebook or YouTube Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your comments later on the program, but first, here's I quote.
Big blanket make man sleep late. An overabundance of luxuries causes one to become complacent and to take life's blessings for granted.
That's a deep one, DJ.
Yes, it is. And I do believe it's true. Sometimes when we have too much of some things, we take it for granted.
Enough said, enough said, enough said. The main watch will be back after this break. Thank you, DJ.
You're welcome.
After the first year, your little one's brain continues to develop rapidly. NAN3, with its advanced formula, specially designed for children from 1 year, keeps their development on track, helps nurture their possibilities with the exclusive combination of optimized protein, HMO, probiotics, and DHA. NAN3, nurturing their possibilities. NAN3 is not a breast milk substitute. It is specially suited to children from 1 year onward.
I'm Tammy.
I'm Wayne.
And we are the Mitchells. Our life is a busy vibe.
We have our vlogging and music.
Entertainment for the kids.
Them love the online gaming, you see.
And streaming enough shows.
So whether we are at home or on the road,
Flow Yard and Road is made for our vibe.
Power your everywhere vibe with Yard and Road and get up to 150 megabits per second fiber fast internet at home and fully loaded mobile with unlimited social and YouTube data. Anywhere talking text plus gigs and gigs of any use data, all for a special offer of $4,999 plus GCT. Yard and Road is for the way you live. Flow, Jamaica's network. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
The first sound they make is to simply let the world know they're here. And then it's our duty to help them show the world why they're here in the first place.
Give them every advantage with the Guardian Achiever, a plan that provides for their educational dreams and protects their health and life in the process. For more information, call 888-4LIFE to speak to an advisor or visit myguardiangroup.com.
A Got love in my heart and I'm feeling blessed.
Get ready for another Testimony Tuesday in Zada Live, 1 to 5, September 20, with yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One. 2 o'clock will be time for Prayer Blast. More prayer, more power. 2:15 inside the evidence. From Hinduism to Christianity. We continue to refresh your spirit with part 2 of the powerful, life-changing testimony of Danny Marshall. Then at 3 p.m., we go behind the pulpit for part 2 of Jamaican born Pastor Vanessa Pink of the Refuge United Church of God in St. Martin. All this and more will come your way inside Alive, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. September 20 on the family station, Love 101.
Give him praise, give him praise.
What is stewardship? Who is a steward and what do they do? Not the one on a ship or an airplane. Let's talk stewardship as presented in the Bible. Tuesday, September 20 on The Rock. Join host Bishop Hero Steve Blair and guests Roland Gale and Reverend Ralston Nemard as they discuss the topic stewardship. That's The Rock, Tuesday, September 20 at 10 a.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
He knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of global crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today. 876-220-6474. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church.
This is a reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
He knows my name.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Welcome back. Now, the new Firearms Act, it is indicated that it is just about ready. That new amendments are being put in place to finally make some positive headway on our very high crime rate here in Jamaica. But what was wrong, if anything, with what we had? And how might any amendments fix all of this? We should be having two guests online this morning. Bishop Rowan Edwards, no stranger to many of us. And Bishop Edwards, he is the founder and general overseer of Lighthouse Assembly Ministries. And we should also be having online a well-known criminologist and the CEO of a security company. I'm not sure if we have that criminologist on us yet, but I think we have Bishop Edwards online. Bishop Edwards?
Sir Stokeley, Marshall, how are you, sir?
Bishop?
I'm right here, man. I'm online.
Always a pleasure having you, Bishop.
Hearing you clearly. Are you hearing me?
Hearing you loud and clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Sir Stokeley. Good to know that you're doing a great job, sir.
Well, give God the glory, sir. Give God all the glory. Bishop, you know, I don't know what mantle God has placed on your life, but I noticed that we keep drawing for people like you. And I said drawing, I'm using a Jamaican colloquial term. We keep interviewing people like yourself, sir.
Well, the volume went down. I don't know why your volume went down. I test my volume and I'm up, but I don't know why your volume went down. You were loud a while ago.
Well, we're struggling with the technology from time to time. I hope it's better now. How does it sound now, sir?
It's all right. It's all right. You work with it.
All right. Okay. You may be familiar with some of the amendments to the new Firearms Act to be implemented for certain offenses. The statute would read that there is a penalty in terms of imprisonment no less than 15 years.
No less than 15 years.
No less than 15 years. Sometimes, generally speaking, a statute would say that for this infraction, for this crime, the penalty is life imprisonment or, whatever it is. 30 years, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years. But the judge has a discretion to impose a lesser sentence, even though it can be up to life or up to 30 years or 2 years or whatever the number of years. But for some of these amendments, it is no less than 15 years. Let me read one of them. Let me read. I'll read one of them, sir. I'll read one of them just for the benefit of the listening public. For instance, a proposed Section 5, possession of prohibited weapon. No person shall possess a prohibited weapon. That is subsection 1. Subsection 2 goes on to read as follows. A person who contravenes subsection 1 commits a felony and shall on conviction therefore before a circuit court be sentenced to imprisonment for life. And notwithstanding the provisions of the Parole Act concerning the time within which an offender shall be eligible for parole, upon sentencing a person convicted for a felony under this subsection, the court shall specify a term of imprisonment of not less than 15 years that the person shall serve before being eligible for parole. Any comments, Reverend?
No, I know, sir, Loxley. So, Stokeley.
Yes.
I just finished talking to Loxley tonight. That there are some when like you are on, there are people out there who monitor you, because they know what you stand for. And of course,
you will pray for me, Bishop.
We're praying for you, man. When you do subjects like these, it draws a whole lot of watchdogs, so they call themselves, Now, I know what the human rights people are saying, and as a matter of fact, in some cases, I call them the human wrong, because they defend the wrongdoers more than how they defend those of our good law-abiding citizens who are victims of whatever the wrongdoer is doing. Most of the cases, they defend the wrongdoer. So I have to make that clear. Now, what I see, the people who sit in cabinet trying to do now is that creating a framework to deal with the monster of murder that is eating up the well-being of our country.
Bishop,
yes,
you said monster of murder eating up our country. We are now upon a break. Hold the thought, sir. Hold it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listeners, stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Yes, sir.
Get better coverage for yourself and your family as low as $800 a month. The tie-by JN Life Vest from JN Life Insurance is
$715.50.
Rata just got better with a new Prime Rata bundle on Digicel, Jamaica's #1 LTE network. Serious? With up to 15 gigabytes of any use data, up to 2,500 minutes for calls. Plus dedicated data on Digicel apps, which now includes data for Spotify, Apple Music, and HBO Max. There's no better plan for all your content needs. Say less. We never get a plan up on the My Digicel app. Mr. Rata. Activate a Prime Rata bundle today for as low as $195.
Jamaica's gangs are like packs of rats. They live in filth and try and drag us all in there with them, spreading the disease of violence and corruption everywhere. But like a pack of rats, they can be eliminated with your help. If you have information on gangs, call Crime Stop on 311. This message is brought to you by Crime Stop and their marketing partners, Lime and NCB.
Planning to sit the January CXC CSEC exams privately? Register with Overseas Examinations Commission before the registration deadline, October 14, 2022. Visit our Kingston office or Montego Bay office to complete your application form or send an email to help@overseasexams.org.jm. Follow our social media pages at Overseas Exams for more details. Remember, if you plan to sit the January CXC CSEC exams privately, the registration deadline is October 14, 2022.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the main watch. We are speaking to Bishop Rowan Edwards, founder and the general overseer, Lighthouse Assembly Ministries. And the topic we are discussing today is putting the squeeze on gun criminals. We are supposed to also have online a criminologist who is the chief executive officer of a security company, but it appears that so far we don't have him on. We continue to speak to Bishop Edwards. Before the break, Bishop, you spoke about, or you made reference to the monster of crime. Would you like to continue, Bishop?
Yes, this monster is destroying the well-being of our country. And the good law-abiding citizens, we cannot sit down and watch this monster continue to do what it's doing. No, the legislators, they sat down and they came up with a program to say, hey, if we catch you with a gun, we're going to make you spend 15 years in prison. That's a tight grip on gun control. Sir, listen, I am fed up. And I'm really fed up of the wicked spirits that is controlling this nation. And we, as good law-abiding citizens, cannot allow the couple men that are out there pushing their AK-47 and their M16 to continue to do what they're doing. And I want to commend the government for putting something in the books to control the evils that are taking place in this country. We cannot, if I might divert a little bit, the Minister of Security, he said something the other day when he said that police should not shoot to miss. And he's saying that if these gunmen attack a police officer, they shouldn't shoot to miss. And there are some people out there begin to eat up the man. The man spoke out of frustration. He's frustrated because of what is taking place in this country. And if anybody is out there hitting the Minister of Security, you need to be talked to, because if you see the wicked evil spirit that is taking place, where, a little baby in Signum last week, 2 years old, Oh God Almighty. Burnt in a fire because gunmen go into the house and kill the father and then burn the house down with a 2-year-old baby. Right? Gunmen did all of that. And then when those men are caught with the weapon that they're using to kill off people, you're saying that you have to be careful of putting on 15 years on individuals. I am saying that I'm commending the authority for making sure that if a man is caught with an illegal weapon, he pays dearly for it, because we have to put a stop to the wicked evil spirit that is controlling this country. And no way am I going to sit down as a citizen in this country and criticize the legislators who put these gun laws in place, that we as a nation is looked upon right now. And we are not in Vietnam or in Iraq to have killed 1,463 people in 1 year. And for the past, since independence, 45,000 people have been killed in this country. And we are sitting down criticizing the legislators. We should be happy that these men sat down and women who sat down and put this together, that this must, listen, Selassie, maybe you're calling me the wrong time because I'm angry. I'm angry with what's taking place in this country. This cannot continue to be. This is not the Jamaica that we know. People are afraid. I just left Leamington, Canada, you know, sir.
You notice I didn't. You notice I wasn't interrupting you all that time, Bishop.
I stayed at the house and the man didn't lock the door going out. He said I have no reason to lock his door. When I left Leamington to come back to Jamaica and read the paper and listen to the news and see how the wicked guys them just kill off the people them, because of what they want, not just scamming, and the whole aspect of extortion, and you want just put money in your pocket and you're killing the nation. It's wrong. And there must be laws in place to make sure that this is controlled. We're not in Vietnam for this to be happening in a small country like ours. We are scorned in the Caribbean right now.
I think
they're doing their wicked deeds.
If I could interject, Bishop, I think the concern is that, yes, it's a small island in the Caribbean. Why is this happening here? And I want to ask you this, Bishop. Do you think the changes as proposed to the Firearms Act in relation to things like such as what we just discussed, do you think that they will be sufficient to address the gun crime situation we have here on the island?
Well, they're coming up with a gun amnesty, and I think they're making a good move there. Pull on an amnesty first, right? And then, when you do this amnesty, right, and anyone does not align themselves to what you call for, if they don't turn in the gun, then they must feel the pinch of the law, right? And so the 15 years that they're giving, I think there are other things that they should do, because what is happening, sir? They're looking at the guy who's carrying the gun, but they're not looking. I think there are other things that they need to look at. Who gives the guy the gun? Where he got it from? Who is financing this gun running in Jamaica? Who is financing this gun running? Where the big nuts are? They need to catch those guys, right? So they need to go further. They need to. A lot of these guys who are doing these things, you know, so are overseas. Some of them are locked up in their prison. They need to find these guys, not just the guy who carries a gun, because the guy, the 15-year-old and the 17-year-old guy who carried a gun is not under him by. Somebody bought it and gave it to him to do a job. So they must go and find the blue-collar guys and the red collar guys who are out there pushing the little boys who they get out of school and draw them into their gangs to go to do the wrong. And I'm saying, sir, that we need to catch them. And whatever means that they must put in place, not just 15 years for the guys carrying the gun, but we must find those guys who are putting the guns in the guys' hands. That's key to controlling the murder rate in Jamaica. Somebody's benefiting from it.
Yes, somebody is benefiting from it, from the sale of these firearms or the trading in these firearms. So you have, in a nutshell, sir, indicated what you think ought to be done other than having these new amendments in place. For the benefit of the listeners, I just want to point out what some of these prohibited firearms are in terms of the amendments to the Firearms Act, because a lot of persons probably are unaware of what the section actually says. And Bishop, another concern is the effect on the children, because a lot of these persons who are carrying these guns, as you pointed out in terms of the ages, 15, 17, do you think that this kind of amendment, if it is communicated effectively to that demographic, teenage boys, what if any impact you think it can have when they hear this? That this is what will be coming.
It needs to be announced from every area of this country. They need to go into the schools. They need to educate the boys of what happened now if they're caught with a weapon. But the boys who, I'm in a community where one school right now is over 200 boys that are delinquent. And those boys, they're prime target for the gang.
Yes.
They're prime target. The gang leaders are going after boys who are delinquent because these boys, are susceptible and they're easily dragged into something.
Easily dragged in.
And the whole aspect of fatherlessness that is affecting. Most of these boys don't have a role model, right? And that's why we push for the 10,000 and family movement for the whole aspect of mentoring. We train over 400 men so far through National Integrity Action and Jamaica Ballers, and those people have helped us to have over 400 men trained here in Town on the whole aspect of, mentoring. It's only a pity that organizations like those.
Bishop, I just want to quickly mention what some of these.
So that we could continue the program like this.
Bishop, I just want to quickly mention what some of the weapons are that you can get in trouble for. Any artillery, any automatic firearm, any rifle of a prescribed caliber, any light machine gun or heavy machine gun, any submachine gun, and of course it continues. And pulling from another list in terms of the wider issue of prohibited weapon, any grenade, bomb, or other like missile, any missile or missile launcher, and it continues. Bishop, a final word before we wrap today.
I am saying, sir, that they should get this on the road as quickly as possible. Make sure that you catch the culprits and put them behind bars, and make sure that they stay there until they learn to be good citizens, and they must stop terrorizing good citizens who are working hard to raise their children. Those parents who are trying their best.
I think we have to leave it there, Bishop. But I think you've made your point, Bishop. But I think only because of time, we have to leave it there. Bishop Rowan Edwards, thank you very much, sir, for your time and for your
God bless you, sir. God bless you.
The Morning Watch. We'll be back after this break.
Visit JN Bank today to find out about achieving your own sweet home in 30 days. The time by JN Bank Mortgage is
7:31.
I say yeah, say cheese. Say cheese and keep on smiling. Oh, say cheese. Say cheese and keep on smiling. So much joy you bring everywhere you go, the people have to smile. Say cheese, yes, say cheese. I just love you bring everywhere you go, the people have to smile. Just say cheese and keep smiling.
Nothing creates a smile like cheese. Happy Cheese Month, Jamaica, from Tasty Cheese.
I'm Tammy.
I'm Wayne.
And we are the Mitchells. Our life is a busy vibe.
We have our vlogging and music.
Entertainment for the kids.
Them love the online gaming, you see.
And streaming enough shows.
So whether we are at home or on the road,
Flow Yard and Road is made for our vibe.
Power your everywhere vibe with Yard and Road and get up to 150 megabits per second fiber fast internet at home and fully loaded mobile with unlimited social and YouTube data. Anywhere talking text plus gigs and gigs of any use data. All for a special offer of $4,999 plus GCT. Yard and Road is for the way you live. Flow, Jamaica's network. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
Colgate Triple Action. 3 benefits for a deep clean. As a mother, you always want to give the best to your family and to make them happy. With Colgate Triple Action, you give them 3 reasons to smile. Cavity protection, whiter teeth, and fresh breath. A unique formula with a minty flavor they will love. Colgate Triple Action. Find it at your favorite store.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's take a look at the newspapers and various news sites to see what persons, are saying out there in the wider media landscape, what others are saying and doing. And we turn firstly to the Gleaner. The online version of the Gleaner. In fact, all of our news sources today that I'm looking at are online. This one, momentarily, please, one moment, please. My apologies. In terms of turning to among the late Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, St. Catherine woman in custody over disappearance of courthouse keys. A woman has been taken into custody in relation to the disappearance of keys belonging to the St. Catherine Parish Court that were at the Spanish Town Police Station for safekeeping. We turn to the Observer. The Jamaica Observer. There's a story here by Alicia Smith. No exemptions. Charles Jr. says farm thieves being prosecuted regardless of who they are. And we turn as well to another news source. We have here, further afield actually, in Western Jamaica. The Western Mirror. This one from September 19th. Modern car park to replace old cemetery. The first line of the article reads, in the not too distant future, a plot of land that has been an old abandoned cemetery on Montego Bay's Hip Strip, Jimmy Cliff Boulevard, will be repurposed to accommodate a modern 3-story parking garage. And there can be quite a bit of controversy in terms of using what was an old cemetery. And of course, if anyone knows that Hip Strip, it's very difficult to find a parking spot there. So let us see what flows from all of that. And I believe we may have something from Loop News as well. And this is in relation to, well, maybe not quite that story. Well, those and, well, let me quickly see if I can locate the current one from Loop News. One moment, please, as we cope with the changing pages on with the technology here. Jamaican among 5 arrested in massive Nigerian cocaine bust. Jamaican among 5 arrested in massive Nigerian cocaine bust. Seizure reportedly the country's largest bust ever. Those and many other stories in both of our major daily newspapers and of course other news sites and news stories. Of course, coming up next, we'll read through some of the feedback from our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp question, which is, what do you think about the amendments to the New Firearms Act? If you haven't done so yet, leave your responses on our Facebook or YouTube Love One FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp your comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125 using hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
I've got love in my heart and I'm feeling blessed.
Get ready for another Testimony Tuesday in Zada Live, 1 to 5, September 20, with yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One. 2 o'clock will be time for Prayer Blast. More prayer, more power. 2:15 inside the evidence. From Hinduism to Christianity, we continue to refresh your spirit with part 2 of the powerful, life-changing testimony of Danny Marshall. Then at 3 p.m., we go behind the pulpit for part 2 of Jamaican-born Pastor Vanessa Pink of the Refuge United Church of God in St. Martin. All this and more will come your way inside Alive, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. September 20 on the family station, Love 101.
Give him praise.
What is stewardship? Who is a steward and what do they do? Not the one on a ship or an airplane. Let's talk stewardship as presented in the Bible. Tuesday, September 20 on The Rock. Join host Bishop Hero Steve Blair and guests Roland Gale and Reverend Ralston Nemard as they discuss the topic stewardship. That's The Rock, Tuesday, September 20 at 10 a.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's join Deidre for a look at how our Facebook and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. What do you think about the amendments to the New Firearms Act? Deidre, there's a comment.
Yes, Victoria Ricketts says, let us allow the process to start and see how it works.
Well, interesting indeed. We move right into the second watch. What you said, let it start and we see how it proceeds.
That's correct.
Interesting. Well, sort of on the same vein, but a little bit of a change from what we did in the first watch. Recently, September the 13th, there's a Gleaner article reported that a teenage human trafficking victim who was initially charged with first-degree murder, and by the way, this is a story coming from the United States of America in the state of Iowa. She was charged with first-degree murder after she stabbed her accused rapist to death. She was sentenced in an Iowa court to 5 years of closely supervised probation and what some people think is the stinger, ordered to pay $150,000 in restitution to the man's family. And that story from Iowa in the USA is not what we're discussing today, but it is the inspiration for our discussion this morning. First of all, we don't know the details of that case, and secondly, we're not experts in Iowa law. However, we want to find out if a similar case in Jamaica involving kidnapping and rape, in other words, if those similar facts applied here in Jamaica, what would the outcome be? And our guests today include Selena Gilvey, Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and Anthony Williams, Attorney at Law. Good morning to the both of you. How are you both?
Good morning, Stokeley. I'm doing well.
Great, great, great. I hope we have Mr. Williams on as well. Anthony Williams? I hope you're on, sir. Not sure if you're hearing him. But we have you, Mr. Gilvey.
Yes.
I think Mr. Williams might be on the phone, and I hope we can hear him shortly. Okay, so Mr. Gilvey,
yes,
please assist us. Would you happen to know if has any such case come before our courts here in Jamaica? And if not, how do you think such a case may, what do you think would occur if those similar facts in Iowa were to be applied here in Jamaica?
Right. I am not aware of any such case where the accused in a manslaughter conviction was ordered to pay the deceased family restitution. However, where such a case arises in Jamaica, the accused certainly would be brought before the court for the offense of murder. And if it is, and the question that must be asked is whether on the facts of the case, a verdict of manslaughter could be left open for the jury to decide on. The simple answer is yes. Then the Crown could accept a plea to manslaughter in circumstances. Now, we recognize in this particular case, unlike others that have been before the court in Jamaica, where an accused person has committed the offense of murder, a plea of manslaughter has been accepted, and a non-custodial sentence has been handed down in several cases in Jamaica for the offense of manslaughter. And so every case is peculiar, Stokeley. We appreciate that this particular accused person in the state of Iowa, to my mind, was in a fit of rage based on what has been happening between her and the accused and the deceased, my apologies, over a period of time. And this certainly is rather evident given the number of stab wounds that the deceased had sustained. So when you consider the background of the victim, the fact that she had been violated in desperate times, she lived a very hard life. She was a child at the time. And here we have a stranger who is violating her person. Not to say that her response to this person who she refers to as a trafficker, not to say that it is an excuse to commit the offense of murder, but what I will say is that justice will demand, what justice will demand will vary from case to case. And this case is certainly a peculiar one. So if it is, there is a possibility that if such a circumstances arose here in Jamaica, she might, considering her circumstances and the peculiarity of this case, that she might receive a non-custodial sentence. In fact, Stokeley, the Jamaica sentencing guidelines in respect of the offense of manslaughter indicates that the maximum penalty concerning manslaughter is life or a fine. So
Yes.
it is within the discretion of the learned judge to decide based on the circumstances whether he or she would impose a custodial sentence or a fine or both. And we
Yes,
have had
understood.
2 cases of such nature that I am aware of in Jamaica that had been before the courts.
Mr. Gilvey, we are already upon a break. I gather that Mr. Williams might be on the phone, but he may be having a little trouble hearing. But we will return from the break shortly, listeners. Please stay with us. We'll be right back at the Morning Watch.
Very well.
Want a birthday gift? Oreo is celebrating 110 years and giving you the gift. From August 2, buy any 5 Oreo products expiration no earlier than August 2, and you could unwrap and have a chance to win over 1 million in cash and prizes. You have 3 ways to enter. Upload receipts to OreoPromotions.com, mail entries to Oreo 110 birthday promotion and send to PO Box 2000 CSO, or drop entries along with contact information in boxes at participating stores. Stamp draw October 14, 2022. Oreo, stay playful. Authorized under Section 58 of the Cutting Hearing and Notaries Act.
When your little one has his first friend, they share hugs, games, and germs as well. He needs to be strong. Protect them with Nestle Clem 1 Plus. Clem 1 Plus contains prebiotics, vitamins, and minerals that contribute to maintain a healthy digestive and immune system, helping them to achieve 100% protection plus nutrition. Nestle Clem 1 Plus, your love, their future. Clem 1 Plus is not a breast milk substitute from 1 year onward.
I am just a little girl, but I have big dreams. And one day, all my dreams are going to come true. That's why I'm glad Mommy opened a Sagicor Bank Star Savers account for me. It's the best gift she could ever give me, because one day I won't be little anymore. And my small savings are going to grow big. I even got my own debit card. Give your child a gift that will grow. Open a Sagicor Bank Star Savers account today.
I'm Tammy.
I'm Wayne.
And we are the Mitchells. Our life is a busy vibe.
We have our vlogging and music.
Entertainment for the kids.
Them love the online gaming, you see.
And streaming enough shows.
So whether we are at home or on the road,
Flow Yard and Road is made for our vibe.
Power your everywhere vibe with Yard and Road and get up to 150 megabits per second fiber fast internet at home and fully loaded mobile with unlimited social and YouTube data. Anywhere talking text plus gigs and gigs of any use data. All for a special offer of $4,999 plus GCT. Yard and Road is for the way you live. Flow, Jamaica's network. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch and we're looking at the rape and kidnap laws in Jamaica. Our guests for this segment, we have Celine Ogilvie, and she is Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Yeah, I'm here.
We also have Anthony Williams, attorney at law. And Mr. Williams, you're now with us. We can hear you now, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Great. And, Mr. Gilvey, I want to thank you for one of the comments you made there, because in fact, a correction in terms of, what you brought out there, in the Iowa court, the person who the victim would have, killed, that person who was killed would not have been an accused rapist because he would not even have been charged. So to that extent, yes, we make that correction here, because clearly he couldn't have been an accused person because he wasn't even charged. So we make that correction.
Yeah.
Mr. Williams, you're now with us, sir. I don't know if you would like to assist us here on the online, sir, on the phone, as the case may be. Help our listeners to understand. In a nutshell, if there was such a case, similar facts here in Jamaica, any comments on that? And if you'd also want to comment on our laws here in Jamaica on kidnapping and rape, because here it is, if that were to have happened here in Jamaica, it clearly would be a case of human trafficking. Usually human trafficking, not in every case, but in some cases it starts with a kidnapping, and unfortunately many of the victims are raped. Any comments, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me say thanks again for inviting me to your esteemed program. In relation to the laws that govern rape, I just want our listeners to understand and appreciate that we have in fact a Sexual Offences Act. And the act makes it very clear of the fact that once a man have sexual intercourse with a woman without her consent, then it is going to constitute the offense of rape. There are two elements. Where we call it the mental element and the actus reus, which is the physical element. Now, consent is usually the main issue in the offense of rape. And so the law, section 3 of the act, I believe, sets out very clearly what constitutes, the mental element. So if a woman does not consent, and she does not have to say no orally, her body language can tell you that it is no. And if the accused person recklessly, in other words, he cares not whether she consents or she agrees, then it is going to be rape. So we want to make that very clear, and the penalty is very, very serious, right? It is going to be a custodial sentence, that is for a sentence in prison. Of course, it depends on the circumstance of a particular case and also the person's antecedent. So the offense is very, very live. Also, in relation to minors, youngsters, young females who are under the age of 16, it is going to be an offense. Carnal abuse is also a very live one. And once they are underage, whether the girl consents or not, it is not a defense. Youngsters cannot consent to having sexual intercourse with boys or overage men. And when I say overage men, I mean once you're over a certain age, 18. So the law is there to protect the female population and not so much the male population. So it is there to protect the female.
Mr. Gilvin, any comments? Sorry, I thought you were finished, Mr. Williams. Yeah. Continue.
Well, as it relates to the kidnapping, well, yes, it seems to be on the prevalent side, not only in Jamaica, but in the Commonwealth, and in particular more in Asian Europe. Here, if it happens, we have laws that govern that, and you could go before the circuit court, and once tried, once the evidence proves that you are guilty, then of course it's going to be more likely a sentence of imprisonment, which we call a custodial sentence.
Understood. Mr. Gilvey, any comments?
Well, what the elephant in the room here, really based on what the accused in the state of Iowa had indicated, was that she was being trafficked. And this area of human trafficking really is a massive area and certainly has done extensive damage on the human beings of the human beings' emotions. And so because it involves a range of human right violation, this type of offense might have serious psychological, physical effects on human beings. And what a lot of traffickers tend to do, if we are going to segue into this area, Stokeley, is they interfere or they abuse the position of vulnerability of a particular victim. And what do I mean by that? Very quickly, what they do is factors of vulnerability would include, for example, poverty, age, gender, isolation, knowing that the victim at the time was homeless, dependency. So she would have depended on this person for a home or for shelter, irregular status in a country. And so they use these type of factors to exploit their victims. And so, if it is that somebody, falls into a situation of that nature, one of the recommendation is, and I know it is easier said than done, but there are several agencies that they can contact if it is, that there's that level of comfort, because then you also have that syndrome, that Stockholm syndrome, where they believe that the trafficker is family. They believe that the trafficker has their back. They believe that the trafficker is for them. And so usually they remain in the abuse. But it's just to underscore to persons that trafficking is not just kidnapping and tying somebody, throwing them in a van and putting them in a basement. Trafficking also involves the movement, from one place to another, involves recruitment, hiring and receiving the person. And there is a means by which they accomplish this particular activity, whether it's use of force, it could be coercion, it could even be deception or fraud. and there must
Yes,
be certain form of exploitation.
So yes, Mr.
Yes,
Williams.
let's say this, Stokeley, that I agree entirely with what Selena has said. Celine,
yes.
The critical aspect about the human trafficking is the element of vulnerability. Selena mentioned it very nicely because they prey on these persons. They're usually persons who are either poor, abject poverty, persons who are depraved, persons who are unemployed or seemingly unemployed. And so what they do is to prey on their emotions and give them a ray of hope that when they come to this particular country, they will get jobs, they will get income, they will be a better life. In fact, the first two human trafficking cases in Jamaica was similar to that. It was a case where a young victim from St. Elizabeth was trafficked to a Caribbean island, I believe it was Haiti.
Yes.
And there was a ray of hope. A ray of hope was given to her that in fact her mother was not working. And so they gave her the impression that once you come to the island, it would be a better paradise.
One moment, Mr. Williams. Mr. Gilby wants to make a comment.
If I could plug in quickly before the program ends.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure several persons might be asking the question whether a victim of trafficking could be immune from prosecution from an offense. Now, let me just underscore the point that in Jamaica, right, it is very limited. So if a victim provides sufficient evidence based on the Trafficking in Persons Act that he or she is a victim to trafficking, he or she will not Stokeley be liable to prosecution for any offense against the laws relating only to immigration or prostitution. That is a direct result of the offense of trafficking in persons committed against them. But certainly the offense of murder is not an excuse to that particular victim. The offense of any other offense, it's really limited only if that victim has been caught illegally relating to illegal immigration or any form of prostitution. And they would be immune to that, but not murder, unfortunately. However, the sentencing judge, again, if the murder is a direct result of trafficking as per the accused in the state of Iowa, then of course, as I had intimated earlier, the learned sentencing judge would take into consideration the circumstances and the peculiarity of the circumstances and ascertain or indicate whether or not. But the judge did say that she can't get off a third time. She also has to be responsible for her offenses and a probationary period. She does have a conviction, she has a record against her name. And that in and of itself is almost like a custodial sentence, because anywhere you go, it will follow you.
The record follows, it will follow her, right? And yes, and unfortunately for her, so to speak, although that's a very cute word to use, unfortunately for her, she having been trafficked did not make her immune.
She didn't make her report.
Did not make her immune from prosecution.
CDA and OCA, the Office of the Children's Advocate. You can contact the nearest police station, and they have to at least direct you either to Sissoko. So there are several agencies that persons can go to, and there are accommodation that would be facilitated for these victims so that these victims could be.
It's a tough one. We have to leave you there this morning, but it's a tough one. I mean, I am sorry for her, but it's not an excuse for murder.
No, it isn't.
It's not an excuse for murder at all. But I understand the pain.
Yes.
Mr. Gilvey and Mr. Williams, I want to thank you for your time this morning, because you have explained a lot to us, and we do appreciate your time and your thoughts. Thank you very much, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, sir.
Our absolute pleasure. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. And of course, join us again tomorrow as we look at other topics and controversial issues. And of course, visit the Love One FM YouTube channel and Facebook page for this and all of the Love One FM programs, and listen to the Morning Watch on our Love 101 app. Download it today and stay connected to the family station, Love One FM, the number one gospel station in Jamaica. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer Kathy Gale and to our guests. I am Stokeley Marshall, having you back over in the morning with Deidre Parchment.
The NHF is here for you, helping Jamaica